Cooking Crave, brought to you by ENG Lending, your area's #1 choice for home loans. 456loan.com.
Coming up on today's show, we have a different twist on tacos. It's in a pasta shell. That's all coming your way next. Hi, I'm Rhonda Fitterer.
And I'm Laverne.
And we have a couple recipes today. You have a taco stuffed pasta shells.
Yeah.
But we're using giant pasta shells.
Right, and it's pasta. It's not a corn shell or
All
taco
right.
shell.
All right, there's a difference.
Yep.
Shells are not shells,
That's right.
just shells. And we're going to pair that today with cheesy garlic bread. So if you want to go ahead and cook along with this, grab a piece of paper and a pen and write down these ingredients. For the taco stuffed pasta shells, you need 8 ounces of uncooked giant jumbo pasta shells, a pound of ground beef, a package of taco seasoning, a can of fire roasted crushed tomatoes. That's a mouthful.
It is. Hard to find also.
All right.
Okay.
Note to our viewers there. 2 cups of shredded Mexican cheese, a cup of diced Romo tomatoes, and a 1/4 cup of chopped cilantro. So easy ingredients there.
Not difficult at all, but it's
All
going
right.
to be awesome.
It is. And we're pairing that today with cheesy garlic bread. For this recipe, it's just a couple ingredients as well. You're going to need 1.5 cups of mayonnaise, a cup of cheddar cheese, and thinly sliced onions, a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley, and then a giant loaf of French bread.
That's it.
All right.
Yes.
Where are we going to start?
Well, we want to get the garlic bread into the refrigerator. Once we put the ingredients on top of it, it wants to have it chilled for like about an hour or so.
Okay.
Up to an hour. But we're going to get our jumbo pasta shells into the water, so those start to get cooking first.
Okay.
So we're going to come over to the stove, and I've got my water boiling, and I
Okay.
did put a little bit of salt in there.
Okay.
And the jumbo pasta shells definitely are big.
They're jumbo.
And this, it says about 8 ounces, and they said that's about 24. So I just counted out 24 because this box is 12 ounces and a little bit more. So
Okay.
we're going to just put those in here
Okay.
and let them get, and you want them like that al dente or whatever,
Okay.
not real soft. So we'll leave that go. So we got that in the water, and let's come on over here.
Okay.
This is really easy to assemble, and I'm going to have you just cut our loaf of bread in half,
Okay.
and we're going to start with 1.5 cups of mayo.
Okay.
It does say do not use salad dressing,
Okay.
so you want that mayo.
Am I cutting this all the way through or just laying it open?
No, we're going to cut it all the way through and just make 2 halves because we're going to put them in foil and put it into the refrigerator. We're going to wrap them separately. So,
Okay.
have the 1.5 cups of mayo in here and the garlic powder, and now we're going to put in the parsley.
Okay.
And let me just mix this up a little bit here. Now we're going to add the 1 cup of cheddar cheese.
Okay.
And it says 1 cup of thinly sliced onion, and you can use less if you prefer or whatever. It's not something that you can't adjust if you don't like that much onion.
Okay.
But I am going with, it's almost a cup of onions there. So.
Okay.
So we just mix this up thoroughly, and then we're going to spread that on our loaves of bread. And
Okay.
then we're going to just wrap it in aluminum foil and just put it in into the fridge for a little bit, just to chill that. Because then we'll be able to put that in the oven when we put our taco pasta shells in there too.
Okay. Sounds good.
So just that mix, and I'm going to give you a butter knife, and I'll take my one out here, and we'll just.
Well, this is something different than just traditional garlic toast or cheesy bread that would go along with a dish.
It is something. When I found this, I thought, oh, that really sounded very interesting, very good. So just kind of give yourself an equal amount for either or.
And it doesn't have to be a hard recipe for it to be a good recipe.
No. And, you know, with the 2 loaves of half loaves like this, it's pretty good size. So the thing is, you know, we're going to wrap them individually. You could just only bake a half of it if you wanted to, and then freeze the other half. It'll freeze well, and to make it later, if you don't.
Even with the
mayo and all that.
and everything on top of it.
You'll be just fine. So we'll take out some aluminum foil here. Does that look like we got pretty much an even amount?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be able to do that way and have it wrap up.
I think that's probably the direction we want to go. So should we flip it around the other way? There we go.
There's a way.
Yeah. So we'll just pull that up here. Because then when we put it into the oven, we'll just unfold the foil but actually just bake it on the foil too. So we're going to just lay it on our cookie sheet and just put that in the refrigerator. Like that. Straighten up there. Yeah, because this doesn't have to be pinched, you know, securely or whatever. So we'll just lay that in the fridge to cool. And the thing is, you can have this in the fridge a couple hours even before you're baking it. So it's not a precise time that you need to refrigerate it.
Okay.
So we're going to come over here to the stove, and I'm going to stir my pasta shells here. And we're going to get the burner on for we're going to brown our hamburger.
Okay.
And then with that, we're going to, we put in our taco seasoning and our fire roasted tomatoes and a cup of Mexican cheese. We melt that together, and that's what we're going to stuff with.
Okay.
And then afterwards, we put the other cup of cheese on and the Roma tomatoes. Sorry about that.
She's thinking of her coworker.
Yeah. And it's not a difficult thing to say, but it didn't come out, right?
Yes.
And so when you top that with the tomatoes and the extra cheese, and a little bit of also cilantro on there and stuff, just gives one of the Mexican seasonings.
Sure.
That they use. So we're just and definitely use pretty lean hamburger, and if it isn't, you just need to drain it.
Okay.
And stuff. So we're going to get that cooked up here, chopped up. I had the burner on low just to start heating the pan, but it still takes a little bit. We've had instances where I've had the pan too high. That's not good either.
Nope.
So we could set off the alarm and everything else. So we want to make sure we have it like that. So what we're going to do is just let this get heated up a little bit and browned, and then we'll come back and add our other ingredients.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Call 456 Loan right now. We roll up our sleeves, get your ducks in a row. For veterans and first timers too. We'll find the best home loan to get you into your new home. Meeting any hour for you. It's as simple as 456 LOAN. Call 456 Loan right now. 456 LOAN. Call 456 Loan right now.
ENG Lending. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Okay, just checking our pasta shells just to see how soft they are. And they're about where I do want them, so I'm going to turn that burner off. And it'll take just a second. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this down just a little bit. And we're going to add a package of taco seasoning.
Okay.
And I usually, I buy mine in bulk, so that's about 3 tablespoons. So then we'll add the fire roasted tomatoes in here.
Okay.
And we're not adding any other liquid, like when you add taco seasoning, sometimes you
Add the water.
add water in there. And we want that's 2 cups of cheese, so let's add about a cup in here.
Okay.
Okay. All looks pretty close there.
There you go.
There, okay.
Those last couple dibs did it.
Yeah, it's always rather have just an extra dash than not enough, right? Okay, so and Rhonda,
Yeah, because when you're stuffing these, you don't want this to be really juicy, so that stands to reason why we're not adding any liquid to this.
that's right. And so we just want to get this hot and have the cheese melted into that.
Okay.
So while I drain the the pasta shells, I'll let you just mix that.
Okay.
I'm going to come over to the sink here and get that. Okay, we're doing well. And I'm going to add some cold water onto the pasta shells so that we can handle the pasta shells when we're filling them. So we want to cool them down a little bit.
So, and this is a dish that we bake then for?
About 20 minutes or until the pasta is bubbly.
Okay.
You know, it doesn't have to, because all the ingredients are going to be cooked, so you don't need basically cooking time. It's just making sure it's heated nice and thoroughly, and then
Okay.
it's bubbly. So it looks like we can turn that down. You've got that mixed well. So we're going to come over here, and we'll pull this. But you know, let me take out a couple of tablespoons here because we need to fill the shells. And we're going to put that here. And just start with a 9 by 13 pan. And it says ungreased, so you don't even
okay.
have to grease that up there. And I will just lay these in here. So you're going to just line them up, and you know they're hot, and you're going to, you know, put them in your hand just to be able to fill them. A good heaping tablespoon
Okay.
in there. I'm going to just lay them all in here, and then we'll just line them up. And as you see with our viewers that I did cool down the shells a little bit so we could handle them when we're filling them. But they do open quite easily, and they make a nice pocket in there for a good amount of taco filling in there. So like I say, it's just a little bit different than your regular taco shells.
Yep.
Something different, and we're always kind of looking for something new. So our viewers are seeing what we're doing here, and we'll get the rest of them filled here and get them lined up, and come back here with our viewers, and then we'll put the finishing ingredients on top.
Sounds good.
Country Rose Cafe on East Villard is open for breakfast and lunch 7 days a week. Enjoy daily homemade specials, caramel and cinnamon rolls, several different kinds of homemade pies made fresh every day. Country Rose Cafe is also famous for homemade soup, including their ever-popular Nefla served every Tuesday. While you're in, make sure to pick up your Channel 18 Cooking Crave recipes and like us on Facebook for different specials and announcements. Country Rose Cafe, the way a cafe should be, located at 837 East Villard in Dickinson.
Okay, we're just filling the last of the shell here, and like I said, I did count 24 of them, and with the 24 and with the amount of meat we had, just perfect.
Absolutely.
So it's probably easier counting out the 24 than saying 8 or ounces or whatever.
Sure.
Especially when you don't find just the 8-ounce box and you have to kind of separate them.
Sure.
So count your 24, and that worked out great. We will want our cheese from over there,
Okay.
and I'm going to put these tomatoes on here. And your Roma, it says a cup of chopped Roma tomatoes, and those are always a little bit, you know, meatier and not quite as juicy. So that's why we're using them. And yet, you know, if you don't have those on hand and you'd have other tomatoes, I would certainly use other tomatoes too. That with that red tomato and the cheese on there and stuff. That's a nice appealing dish.
Well, it's very festive.
Yes, it is. And then we'll put on the cilantro, just drizzle that on top of it. There we go. And that was just a couple of tablespoons. You don't need a lot, but cilantro does definitely have that Mexican flavor, that they use a lot. So I want to just rinse my hands off, and then I do have the oven on, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this for 10 minutes, and then we'll take out the garlic bread and put that in for the remaining time, because the garlic bread is like around that 10 to 12 minutes.
Okay.
So we'll just enter that, put that in here. So we'll have that. So we'll set the timer for 10 minutes. So then that reminds us to get the garlic bread in there, and in short time we'll have it all together.
Sounds great.
The timer is going off for the 10 minutes. That was a reminder for us to get the garlic bread out and get that in the oven. And we're going to actually open these up, and let's just have that one there, and just put it a little bit, we'll move it a little bit to the side, and because we'll just put both pieces of the garlic bread on one foil there.
Sure.
And that, so that was just enough to get that chilled a little bit. Yeah. And even, it did suggest too in the recipe, if you ever, have it frozen, you want to make sure then you add a little bit more baking time to it.
Sure.
Or make sure that it's just thawed out and stuff. So now we're going to put that in the oven, and we're going to set the timer for about 10 minutes again, and then we'll check to make sure that taco pasta shell casserole is done, baked nice thorough, and then the garlic bread should also be in there. So we might, even after we take out the casserole, we might just put the broiler on just a little bit if we want that top browned a little bit.
Okay.
Because that's always kind of nice.
Yeah.
So we shall be back shortly again.
Okay.
Okay, the buzzer is going now, and let's just double check to see how things are looking. And we'll pull out, oh, that garlic bread looks awesome. That's
perfect.
Perfect, yes. So and our cheese and all this is melted, looks nice and hot, so I can turn that off, and we'll just bring that. Let's just take one of these hot plates and put it over here, and then I'll bring our taco pasta shells here, and we'll just put that on here. So
They
what we're going,
smell good.
doesn't it though? So let's just take one of the garlic breads. We'll just take that out there, and I'll just have you just kind of put that underneath, because it's hot. So we'll just, so we can, do a couple of slices there.
Okay.
And I'm going to just move this aside. It's hot, isn't it?
It's a little hot.
It really smells great, though. So we're, you might even want to, if you want to take a fork there and hold it. And while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and get some pasta shells out here. And this, like we talked about, a very pleasing to the appetite looking dish with all the colors here. So this is definitely quite a bit that you would be able to feed, easily 4 to 6 people, I would think. So I think that's fine, and let's just put a couple of pieces of this garlic bread on there. There we go. And so with that garlic bread, and just to get it that nice color, everything melted in, it's just to brown a little bit, it was 12 minutes that I had in there. And then this was, a good 20 minutes and all melted, and it's awesome. So
Perfect. To get these recipes, just go to Consolidated's website, www.ctctel.com. Please submit your recipes for us to cook on the show and share with all our viewers, and get your name into the drawing for a handy dandy Cooking Crave apron.
Absolutely.
They're pretty awesome. We want to thank you for joining us on Cooking Crave this day, and come back next week when we do it all over again.